What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we are going to be doing the Manchester City transfer update. Yes, another transfer update, but when I'm getting news and there's enough news content out there for me to put a video out, I will definitely be putting a video out. So yes, make sure you stay tuned for that. We've got a good update on Nelson Semedo and potentially joining Manchester City. We've also got a big contract update with regards to Gabriel Jesus, and also an update on Angelino potentially leaving Manchester City. So before we crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content and you want to help support my channel, then subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on to be notified immediately when I do upload, so you can be kept in the loop with the latest Manchester City news and transfer news. Don't forget also, you can find my social media links in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with everything happening with JSGC news and also Manchester City news too, and I'll be retweeting sources with transfer information too, so worthwhile following me on Twitter in particular. Don't forget also, email in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. We've got daily Manchester City transfer updates coming up when the season eventually does end and the summer transfer window does open, so lots of people enjoy them, so we've got that to look forward to. That will coming up hopefully in the next, well, few weeks into the next couple of months, so we've got that to look forward to too. And don't forget also, leave your thoughts in the comments below with the transfers for this video, and don't forget also, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. So without further ado, let's crack on with this video, and we've first up got a new name to be talking about. It comes in the form of Rayan Ait-Nouri of Angers. I hope that's how you say his name, but Angers are a football team over in France. He's an 18-year-old left back. He's meant to be a really good prospect. Manchester City are interested. Apparently they are ready to open up negotiations, but this was coming from a source in Italy dealing with a club in England after a player in France. So I'm not too sure why the sources are coming from Italy. Anyway, the information was coming via Sports Witness. It doesn't sound too reliable, if I'm completely honest, but it almost sounds too random to make up. And so it's one of those that I'm going to have to keep an eye on, see the developments there. But of course, Manchester City always chasing left backs. City, it'd be ideal for us with Angelino potentially leaving that we could have a player that we could take into the academy, give him a couple of seasons to develop and see how he gets along. I know I don't know too much about the player, but obviously playing at a top level over in France. It'd be interesting to see his developments, and obviously highly regarded by Manchester City for City's name to be put out there. So we'll wait and see with developments to the young French left back. So instead, moving on in the end, and we're going to be speaking about the update on Nelson Semedo. Now, according to sources in Spain, Nelson Semedo is very keen on joining Manchester City. He wants to be at Manchester City. He wants to be a Man City player. He wants to work with Pep Guardiola. That is the information coming in from sources close to Barcelona. Now, these sources were saying that there's already personal terms agreed. There's an agreement in place between the club and the player for him to be a Manchester City player. It's all about a fee being agreed, a deal being agreed, and City sorting out the future of Joao Cancelo. Of course, on my last transfer update in the last video, I did say that Joao Cancelo was wanted by Inter Milan. So Barcelona were willing to miss out on Joao Cancelo because Barcelona are also interested. He goes to Inter Milan, and Barcelona use that as a little sweetener to be able to bring in Lautaro Martinez to Barcelona from Inter Milan in a kind of three-way transfer conveyor belt exchange situation. It's quite confusing. However, my feeling is that if Joao Cancelo does not join Inter Milan, I'm almost certain that he will join Barcelona instead, and some kind of deal will be able to be worked out between Barcelona and Manchester City. Of course, got good working relations between the clubs. Of course, we've got Barcelona's former chiefs in charge at Manchester City. We've got Barcelona's arguably best ever manager in charge at Manchester City too. So we've got good working relations with Barcelona. So it's a deal that is very doable. It's all about two things here. Number one is if Joao Cancelo wishes to leave Manchester City and City are happy for Cancelo to leave and bring Semedo in, is the first issue. Then the second issue is in terms of Nelson Semedo, he might go somewhere else because he's not just being linked with Manchester City, he is also obviously being linked with Inter Milan. I've heard Juventus' name being put out there, I've heard Paris Saint-Germain's name being put out there, Tottenham Hotspur too, but Tottenham, update on that, don't want to sell Tanguy Ndombele, and so that deal now becomes ever more complicated. So it's likely likely that he would join Manchester City, Nelson Semedo, but it's all about City trying to tie up the loose ends and sort out the future of Joao Cancelo, much like the Danilo situation from last season with regards to swapping him for Cancelo over at Juventus. And speaking of Juventus, Juventus are also interested in bringing in Nelson Semedo, and sources over in Barcelona were saying that Juventus are trying to scupper the deal for Semedo to go to Manchester City. That's the latest update, and that they're going to do everything in their power to try and bring in Semedo as their new right back in Turin. Obviously, where does that leave Danilo at Juventus? I do not know. Could there be more swap deals involved? It's very confusing. It's very similar to the situation of last season, apart from there seems to be one or two more clubs involved. So we'll just have to wait and see. But Semedo wants Manchester City. That's very important. He wants Manchester City. If he's willing to wait for Manchester City, he could well become a Manchester City player. But of course, the future of Cancelo needs sorting out first. And if Cancelo does wish to leave, then it's pretty straightforward. It's just a fee that needs to be agreed on where the players are going to end up. One of those, though, just like with the left back that we spoke about previously, I'll keep an eye out for developments. So moving on, we'll go on to the outs. I said we've got an update on Angelino. I'm going to give it to you. Now, Red Bull Leipzig, they remain very interested in bringing in Angelino on a permanent basis. However, they're stating they cannot afford his €22 million option to sign him on the agreement when they loaned him back in January, and instead they're willing to pay half of that price, €11 million. Now, Angelino is an excellent offensive fullback. And if I'm completely honest, I feel like if City want to find him a new club, I imagine there would be a club somewhere in the world that would be willing to pay €22 million for a top quality young offensive left back like Angelino. He's a brilliant player. He showed it in the Champions League. He enabled the progress on that left hand side for Red Bull Leipzig to be able to pick apart Tottenham Hotspur. He was influential. He's a very good player. Unfortunately, Angelino just simply does not sit into Manchester City's formations and our style of play that we like to play. However, if City wanted to revert, like say if Pep was to leave and was to have a new manager to come in who was going to be a manager that was going to absorb, play free at the back, look for counter-attacks quick, and the fullbacks need to be really attacking, then Angelino really would suit that style of play. And it's a style of play, to me, that would suit in Germany, also in Italy, could well suit in France too. Potentially, I'm not too sure in Spain and England, it's quite difficult, but the system has to suit Angelino for him to shine, and unfortunately that isn't at Manchester City, not at this moment in time. But that doesn't take away from him being a fantastic player. And I'll be completely honest, if Red Bull Leipzig aren't prepared to go into negotiations to pay his €22 million fee that we want for him, I would then start looking to other clubs to try and pay that. Now, I just want to speak quickly about Upamecano, because it could well be involved with Angelino having a swap deal and City paying some money to be able to bring in a quality centre-back like Upamecano, who plays for Red Bull Leipzig. So there could be some leeway there, so City could be at an advantage because we're offering Leipzig something that other clubs can't offer, and that is a defensive player like Angelino, who they already know would suit their system and is working well in their team, to be able to sign him on a permanent basis, and they get money for Upamecano, who still hasn't signed that new contract with them yet. So it could make sense. We'll keep an eye on developments there. That's just me fabricating things, though. Obviously, we've got other quality players like Timo Werner, but again, City, they're not actively looking for a striker right now, so it wouldn't make sense for City to go and swap Werner for Angelino and pay some money. But we'll have to see and wait for developments there. Moving on, we're going to speak about Yan Couto, of course, the young right-back that Manchester City brought in. Now, The Athletic, they're reporting that Leeds United are interested in bringing him in on loan for next season. Of course, we already know that. The update is that City are only willing to loan him to Leeds United if they are promoted to the Premier League. Shows how highly regarded Yan Couto is, that they want him having top action in the Premier League. Of course, City have got excellent working relations with Leeds United, of course, with Bielsa having a great relationship, not just with Pep Guardiola, but with other Manchester City players and personnel too. And so it would make sense, but it's all about them waiting for if Leeds United get Premier League football or not. Now, if Leeds United do not get promoted, I'm certain that they're always going to be a top team in the Championship. They're always going to do well. And so I'd be willing for him to play top-end Championship to get him used to English football anyway. So regardless, I'd loan him to Leeds United, whether they're in the Championship or the Premier League. But that is just my personal feelings. Now, moving on to our last story is our update on Gabriel Jesus. Now, the Sun, they were reporting that Manchester City want Gabriel Jesus on a new contract. He has 3 years left on his deal at Manchester City, but City want to end all the speculation of Juventus being linked with Gabriel Jesus, and they want him to sign a new contract and commit to Manchester City. They want him on £120,000 per week. Now, I can imagine Jesus' agent wanted a little bit more money to reflect him being seen as a player that's not just rotated with Sergio Aguero, but more of a first-team player starting to move towards a regular starter as Aguero's future. I'm not saying it's in doubt or anything, but his contract runs down and we don't know if Aguero will be at Manchester City for another season or two, and so naturally the integration will be for Jesus to make way and start getting more minutes and be integrated into that spot as Aguero starts to be phased out like David Silva has been this season. Aguero is a top quality striker, so I'm not too sure if that's going to happen. I just personally feel £120,000 a week is a great deal for Manchester City, but I can imagine Jesus wanting more. But it'd be great if he would sign a new deal at City to end all speculation. I like Gabriel Jesus. I do feel like he just needs a run of games under his belt and he'd show just how good a striker he is. After all, he's keeping Roberto Firmino out of the Brazil squad. He's a top quality player. So there we go, that's been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up on the video so I know that you liked the video. Leave in the comments below what you thought of this video and these transfers. Gabriel Jesus, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on Nelson Semedo, Angelino, Yan Couto, and also the young left back coming in from Angers too. Let me know of all them deals in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Aiming for 6,000 subscribers at the time of recording now. We're less than 200 subscribers away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget also social media links in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget also email in the description below too. Yes, we've got a new background for now, for the time being. It's just like switching up and keeping fit. I'm rotating, I'm doing a Pep rotating background. So there we go, that has been the video. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you all again for the next video. And like I said, the more transfer news there is, the more videos I can put out. I'm also open for suggestions for any other videos that you would like to see. Just leave them in the comments below and I'll see you all again very soon. So I've been JSGC. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.